You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button.
Brian Kelly and his coaching staff just continue their torrid pace. There were 3 high school commits for the class of 2024 in 4 days last week. And over the weekend, they added another player for the 2023 class, meaning eligible to play this fall. They went into the JUCO ranks and nabbed tight end Connor Gilbreath. Connor Gilbreath is he's out of Butte Community College in California and took an official visit to LSU and committed after the visit. Here's what's really, really interesting about Connor Gilbreath. And at first glance, I was like, man, that is odd that they would add another tight end, right? I mean, a year ago, LSU was super thin. You had Mason Taylor, a 3-star true freshman. You had Cole Taylor, who, again, was really just notable for having his shoe thrown against Florida and now is transferred out. And you had Nick Storrs, who had a medical retirement from baseball, came back to play football as a tight. Like, that was your tight end group a year ago. So you've got Mason Taylor coming back, but you went and signed Mac Markway, Jackson McGowan, and McCorian Pimpton. So you added 3 tight ends for this year's class on top of having Mason Taylor back. So it didn't I'm like, God, they added another tight end. I know Brian Kelly features the tight end, but man, that is a lot of bodies at that position. And then you see this. Connor Gilbreath is 6'6", 270. He's 6'6", 270. He was an offensive tackle who is being recruited as a tight end to be a blocker. He talked to our friends over at On3, the Bengal Tiger, said, quote, I'm a full qualifier, so I have the GPA to play this year. Making the move for this season would be big because I could potentially spend 4 years at another college at the next level. So, again, coming from JUCO, he's got 3 to play 4 now at LSU, but he's eligible immediately. He visited LSU, Missouri, Arizona, Mississippi State, NC State. So he had a lot of interest, a lot of offers. But here's what he said. Talked about Coach Denbrock and wanted to use him as a blocking tight end. He said, quote, I'm excited about that. Catching is cool, but I could care less. I love blocking. I am not a tight end trying to be a receiver. He said, with every school I've talked to, my route would be play a year at tight end, develop into an offensive tackle. He said, I'm all in on the switch. It gives me a chance to block even more. So this is a situation where they're bringing in a guy who was an offensive tackle in high school, not big enough yet to be an offensive tackle in college, is at the LSU level or the major college level. But at 6'6", 270, you bring him in as an attached tight end that is a blocking tight end who's athletic enough and that you continue to grow and develop ultimately into an offensive tackle. So you have a hybrid player. What you have here is Dylan Gordon. Y'all remember Dylan Gordon? Big monster. Wasn't he out of John Curtis? Dylan Gordon was a 300-pound tight end that Les Miles used, and it was just a 6th offensive lineman. So when you look at this, I love this. Because if you were adding just another body at tight end, it wouldn't have made a lot of sense because now you're really heavy at that position where you were thin. I love the fact that now you are not predictable by personnel at tight end, right? And it's one of the things that you try to protect against. For example, when the New Orleans Saints put Taysom Hill in the game in the shotgun, we all know Taysom Hill is running the football. I mean, randomly, he'll throw a pass, which looks like a high school punt. But mostly when Taysom Hill is in the game, in the shotgun formation, he's running the ball. My goodness, when Trendon Holiday played at LSU, when you saw 8 in the slot or out wide, you knew it was coming. Here comes the jet sweep. and he's just going to try to run really fast and beat you to the edge. He was really good at it too. But you don't become predictable by personnel when you have Connor Gilbreath in the game, because he is a blocker, but you can also counterbalance Mason Taylor in the game. It makes you more versatile at that position. And this is not like Brian Kelly has done this before, by the way. As recent as 2019, he had Cole Kmet, who had 43 receptions that year. Tommy Tremble, who was also an NFL draft pick, I think of the Bears maybe, 16 catches that year. So they had 2 receiving tight ends. And then they had Brock Wright, who Brock Wright is 6'5", 270, 265, and he's just a blocking tight end, who is now, by the way, in his second year with the Detroit Lions, who are coached by Dan Campbell, who was a blocking tight end in New Orleans under Sean Payton. So this is a process we've seen Brian Kelly follow before. Mike Denbrock, of course, was with Brian Kelly for a stint at Notre Dame. So it's not altogether uncommon to have a guy at tight end who is just a blocking tight end. And, I mean, look, the Saints have done that in years past as well. If it were Josh Hill, Michael Ho'omanu-Anui, a.k.a. Who-Man, Dan Campbell. So I love it. I love the fact that you're adding another body with a clear vision to say, make him a sixth offensive lineman right now, an attached tight end that can block and loves to block, that eventually you're going to grow and develop into an offensive tackle, while right now you've got Will Campbell, Emory Jones locking down those positions, and you don't need him to be that for at least 2 years. So, and a guy that's committed to saying, man, I get 4 years at LSU, awesome. So you love what they've done here with this addition. And I'll remind you again, there is no hard cap anymore. It used to be that you could only sign 25 players, a cap of 25 players in a signing class. So you had to be really careful about taking a project player or taking too many guys at a certain position. Now you can sign as many as you want as long as you maintain 85 scholarship players. So you look at LSU football, what Brian Kelly inherited. They were so thin on numbers. They built it back up a lot last year, but they're still not to that number. So now you're getting there again, and you could take a guy like Connor Gilbreath and say, hey, give me another option as a blocking tight end this year and a guy we can grow and develop so I can make use of you now while you're not, until you're ready to play offensive tackle in this offense. So really cool. Connor Gilbreath, JUCO tight end, commits to LSU, and he is eligible for 2023. Like, he will be here this summer, go through class. We were messaging a bit ago, we're going to get him on the show, but he expects to be here in Baton Rouge in July and ready to go through fall camp and play for LSU here in 2023.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.